broke all the rules. Good times were the he lived for, and his fans approved. An entire nation loved him, and its youngsters made him their personal idol. Babe Ruth. This is his biography. I'm Mike Wallace, and this is Biography. Our story, George Herman Ruth. The Babe, the Bam, the Sultan of Swat. Those very names evoke the nostalgia of a wonderful era. Babe Ruth was a spectacular ball player, but that alone does not explain his legend. Well, Babe Ruth was a phenomenon of the 1920s when America seemed young and carefree and exuberant. And we eagerly idolized a grown man because he could blast a leather-covered ball over an outfield fence. As for the Babe himself, off the field and on, he was big and carefree and uncomplicated, tailor-made for the time he lived in. Babe Ruth made people love him. His wide grin and happy-go-lucky personality were irresistible. He was a roly-poly man who did everything in a big way, whether it was hitting home runs or having a night town. He loved kids. He delighted in being their hero, and they worshiped the Babe. To shake his huge hand, to hear him say, "Hiya, kid," was a precious moment. There has never been an idol quite like him. Babe Ruth, the kid from Baltimore. George Herman Ruth is born in 1895. His childhood is spent in a tenement on the Baltimore waterfront. His father, George Sr., is a hard-working bartender. He and his wife, Kate, realize that by the time little George is 7, he's wild and uncontrollable. In desperation, they send him to St. Mary's Industrial School, an institution for delinquents and orphans. His discipline is entrusted to Brother Gilbert, a patient man who takes a special interest in the tough youngster, who during the next 12 years will grow to love him. He encourages George to play baseball and coaches him when he joins the school team. It's the turning point of Ruth's life. As the years pass, he becomes St. Mary's star ball player. Brother Gilbert stuck with me, Ruth will later recall. I owe him a lot, more than I'll ever be able to repay. In 1914, George is 18 years old, ready to step out into the world. Jack Dunn, manager of the Baltimore Orioles, takes just one look at Ruth in action and offers him a contract. Ruth's salary is $25 a week, and he can hardly believe he's being paid to play baseball. His Baltimore teammates call the young rookie Jack's Baby, and it's soon shortened to Babe. With his new name, Babe Ruth enters a new world. Baseball is the national pastime, and there's a ballpark in every town. It's the kind of game a man can bring his wife and kids to. The ball players come from prairies, coal fields, manufacturing towns. They're hungry ball players, savagely competitive, skilled at using the beanball and their spikes and their fists. They aren't coddled, they aren't prima donnas. When it rains, they're expected to work. President Woodrow Wilson takes part in a scene that will be repeated many times in baseball history. This is the world of baseball in 1914. In 1914, the Boston Red Sox buy Babe Ruth's contract for $3,000. Only 2 years later, at the age of 21, he establishes an incredible World Series pitching record of 29 consecutive scoreless innings. He becomes one of the great pitching stars of his time. The troublemaking kid from Baltimore is on his way. Honors and awards start early for Babe Ruth, and so does marriage. He weds Helen Woodring, a pretty young waitress from Boston. In 1920, he becomes a New York Yankee, purchased for the then staggering sum of $125,000. The Yankees discover Babe Ruth is worth every penny, for not only can he pitch, he's astonishing at bat. He's been switched to the outfield now so he can play every day, and his batting power amazes the baseball world. When he sets a new record with 29 home runs, most people say it can never be topped. But in his first year as a Yankee, Babe hits an unbelievable 54 home runs. The next year, he does even better. His total soars to 59. He's turned the record books upside down. He joins the ranks of players like the great Ty Cobb, Rogers Hornsby, Pye Traynor, Grover Cleveland Alexander, Walter Johnson, the combination of Tinker to Evers to Chance, and a new Yankee teammate named Lou Gehrig. Babe Ruth is now a national figure. He overshadows the Yankees and most of baseball. More trophies for the Babe, more awards, more adulation, and more money. He's king of baseball, crowned the Sultan of SWAT. He shakes hands with presidents, but he's more at ease with kids. From the beginning, it's obvious that they are his favorite audience. He hits baseballs for them off a rooftop. It's good publicity, and if you're Babe Ruth, it's great fun. Catching a ball dropped from an airplane is a challenge he can't pass up, even if it means risking a fractured skull. Barnstorming, touring the country in the off-season, gives the nation a chance to see Babe Ruth in person. On his tours with his pal Lou Gehrig, it's anything for a laugh. Babe is a perfect hero for the roaring 20s. He's a free and easy spender. So when a Hollywood film promoter offers him $50,000 to star in a silent movie, the Babe cannot refuse. But according to Babe, there never was a film quite like it, thank God. And to make matters worse, his $50,000 check bounces. In the movie, Babe watches as his girl rides by in somebody else's canoe. Somehow, he's got to win her back. As the plot unfolds, Babe finally gets his chance to prove himself in the town's big game. The trusty handmade bat to the rescue. His best girl is watching. He has to win the game. In the end, the Babe wins both game and girl. But the movie, alas, is a flop. This is the house that Ruth built, Yankee Stadium. If he wasn't box office at the movies, he surely was at the ballpark. The new stadium is made possible by the great drawing power of Babe's name. He's the biggest single attraction in sports, bringing in more paid admissions than any other man in baseball history. The people come to see the Yankees, and Babe Ruth is the Yankee. 1927 is another season for the record books. For the past 5 years, Babe has been unable to come near his own record of 59 home runs. The fans are beginning to wonder if he's past his prime. But as the season goes by, Ruth gives them his answer. The total slowly mounts, and late in the season, Ruth finally equals his old mark. 59 homers. Now the pressure is really on. Can he break his own record? By the last week of September, time has almost run out. Only a handful of chances are left. On September 27, 1927, the Yankees are playing the Washington Senators. Yankee Stadium is filled with thousands of fans hoping to see history made. In the first inning, the Babe hits a ground ball to the infield, and he's out at first base. In the fourth inning, he gets a hit, but it's only a single. In the sixth, Babe singles again. Finally, the eighth inning. The string has almost run out. The game is nearly over. Tom Zachary is the Washington pitcher. The score is tied. There's a man on third and one out. This is the moment. A home run into the right field bleacher. Home runs in one season. Babe Ruth has set the greatest record in baseball history. Talking pictures come to Hollywood, and Babe Ruth, the film crooner, makes his debut.
Play ball! Strike one! Strike two!
Babe is now at the height of his fame, and he relishes every minute of it, especially when his pals, the youngsters, surround him. Children in hospitals find him a regular visitor. He's their own very special person, their own private hero. He remembers how lonely and unwanted he was at their age and how much a little attention and kindness would have meant. So this is no public relations gimmick. He gets as much fun out of it as the kids do. Babe Ruth's personal life becomes public property. But Babe wouldn't have it any other way. His second marriage to showgirl Claire Hodgson is a national event. He has a new coach now. It'll be up to her to keep him in line.
I'm very happy to be the wife of one of the greatest ball players that ever lived. And he is one of the greatest ball players that ever lived because he follows his director's instructions by his exercises and a proper diet.
Keeping in condition can be hard work, and the Babe either ducks it or tries to make a game of it.
What's the idea of this? How much you weigh today? Oh, about 222 and a half. Hey, 222. No, McGovern, what's the idea? 22. Hey, ease up there a little bit, will you? 21 and a half. Oh. Say, I can feel it so plain. It's good and hard. Say, what's the idea of this boxing? All right, keep in good shape before you get to an argument with a pitcher. Oh, that's so, huh? Hey, Paul, who's the heavyweight champion? Hey, what's the idea? Well, it's a great idea, babe. Well, what is the idea? Remember how you socked me inside after the movie? Hey, the only get out here. Turn on more steam there. Hey, never mind the steam. I'll get the steam. I'll get the steam when I get out of here.
But now age and high living begin to take their toll. Devouring 18 hot dogs at one sitting doesn't help. He winds up in the hospital for part of a season. In 1932, the Babe is out of shape, and he has to train especially hard for the World Series.
Hello, Babe. How do you feel?
Fine, Sonny. How's yourself?
All right. Well, I'm glad the Yankees won.
Well, so am I.
I guess I'll see you in World Series games then.
Well, I hope so. I guess I'm one of the lucky fellas to be able to get into 10 World Series. And the way I feel now, looks like I'll be in there.
Well, hope you hit a lot of home runs.
Well, I won't predict anything, but I'll sure do my best. I hope all you boys will be out there watching us.
The third game of the 1932 World Series has a special place in baseball history. This is Babe Ruth's own recollection of that famous day.
I'll never forget it. It was a tough series. Both clubs riding each other, doing everything to get each other's goat. Well, I was this one particular time when I went to bat, Charlie Ruth was pitching. And the first pitch ball was a called strike. Well, I thought it was outside and didn't like it very much. So the boys over there would give me this, on you. Well, the second pitch ball was another called strike. Well, I didn't like that one either, so I let it go by. Well, I stepped out of the box, and by that time, they were over there going crazy. Well, I looked out at center field, and I poured it. I said, I'm going to hit the next pitch ball right past the flagpole. Well, the good Lord must have been with me.
A voyage aboard a luxury cruiser is the Ruth way of getting to Florida and spring training. Before leaving, there's a press conference for the casually confident Babe and his family.
You're going to be a good girl when I go away.
Yes, Daddy.
And you're going to pay attention to what the teacher tells you?
Yes, Daddy.
Well, if you don't, you see that big hand. Well, you'll get it.
I understand this is your birthday.
Yes, it's my birthday, all right, and I'm getting pretty old. 37 today.
Is that so? Well, you don't look anywhere near that.
Well, no, the wife tells me the same thing. But I'm going down St. Pete now to try to get in trim for a good season. And I hope I can come through and satisfy all the fans as I've done in the past performances.
How is the new ball going to affect you, Mr.
Well,
Ruth?
I can't answer that. I haven't hit that yet. Chances are, as they say in the old days, we had a dead ball, and I've seen them just as far then, and I think I'll continue doing so.
Put it right over the fence, as
I'll
before.
try.
St. Petersburg, Florida, and the ritual of spring training begins. Babe Ruth is a little slower this year, and a lot heavier than he's ever been. Baseball now is work, not play. The good humor is missing, and the famous smile is seldom seen. For the Babe, this will be a long, hard year. As the season unfolds, teammate Lou Gehrig becomes baseball's man of the hour. The ovations belong to Gehrig now. He's the pride of the Yankees, their brightest star. And for the first time, Babe Ruth takes second place. Their friendly rivalry turns into an uncomfortable feud. The feud is common knowledge. Everybody talks about it. There are times when the fans can see it, even during a ball game. When Babe Ruth jogs in after hitting a home run, Gehrig, the next man to bat, not only doesn't shake Ruth's hand, but turns his back on the Babe. The home runs are fewer these days, and Babe Ruth is a weak link in the Yankee lineup. Every game becomes a dreary afternoon for the aging Ruth. A letter of retirement ends Babe Ruth's days as a Yankee. He's 39 years old, and he decides to quit baseball. Yet opening day 1935 finds Babe still wearing a baseball uniform. But he's with the Boston Braves. He just can't stay away from the game. The Ruth name is still magic, but his power is almost gone. It's just a case of the years catching up to the man. Next, the Brooklyn Dodgers offer him a job. The Dodgers are a weak team and they can't draw fans into the park. But Babe Ruth can, and if he can't blast home runs anymore, at least he can still clown around. Officially, he's first base coach for the Dodgers, but it's an uncomfortable spot for Babe, and he doesn't stay there long. July 4th, 1938, Yankee Stadium, a day of tribute for Lou Gehrig. A fatal disease has put an end to his playing and numbered his days. 70,000 people gather to pay their respects to the pride of the Yankees.
I consider myself the luckiest man on the face of the earth. I might have been given a bad break, but I've got an awful lot to live for. Thank you.
A feud ends at Yankee Stadium on the playing field where it began. It is the last reunion for two of baseball's immortals. As the years pass, Babe can't stay away from baseball. Now he's the center of attention for only the few seconds it takes to get his autograph. He's just another spectator, and the years of retirement are lonely. The end of the story begins at French Hospital in New York City. A frail Babe Ruth leaves for home. An operation has temporarily stopped the spread of cancer. The memory of Babe is still strong with those who loved him. There have been thousands of letters to wish him well. Babe can only reply, "Thank ever for me from the bottom of my heart." An entire generation of baseball players has passed through Yankee Stadium since Babe Ruth's playing days. And on April 27, 1948, he arrives there for his last unforgettable appearance. This is Babe Ruth Day, and he's being honored in every ballpark in the nation. It is here in the house that Ruth built that Babe Ruth witnesses the final overwhelming tribute. And he answers in a voice all but silenced by the disease that will soon take his life.
Many lovely things said about me, and I'm glad that I've had the opportunity to thank everybody. Thank you.
Babe Ruth dies on August 15, 1948. People who knew him, strangers and kids who'd never seen him play, filed through Yankee Stadium, their last respects to a man and to a legend. The flags of New York City fly at half-mast as his funeral procession makes its way through the streets. At St. Patrick's Cathedral, the greats of the sports world join his youngest fans at his last rites. A nation mourns the passing of Babe Ruth. An era in baseball has come to an end.